Hmm. Restream is still saying offline.
Looks like it's working on my end.
The YouTube or Twitch?
Both, actually.
Okay, this window is fucked. Okay, that's why.
Yep,
Alright.
both of them say sending data.
I'm just double checking on my end here. What a handsome man there, just staring back at me into Twitch.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Alright, let's get some tunes back going on here. And thank you for turning me on to some of these.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Always got to share the good music where I can.
How's that for volume?
Good, good, good. Let me just double check here. Oh, it might work if I.
I can dial it up just there to the side.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Alright.
Let me dial it up. Hey, Justin, how are you, man?
Hey, what's happening, Justin? We are the Block Talk boys here with Block Talk. We have our normal intro forever immortalized on YouTube. Can you mute that, please?
Yeah, good lord, it just came out of nowhere. Sorry about that.
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Wow, that was nuts.
Yeah. So here we are, another week, another exciting day of cryptocurrency news and things. But of course, first of all, how are you doing, man? What's new in your world?
Oh man, same old, same old. We saw some nice price action yesterday in the market. Everything kind of pumped a little bit. Um, Even today, the volatility is just so good. Managed to scoop up a few coins here and there, make some nice profits, and other than that, just been kind of hanging out, watching everything going on, and just been chilling.
Yep, now I hear that. Chilling is the name of the game. But I was kind of wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about your experience with what's around.
Oh yeah, so for those who haven't heard or learned about it or anything, there's a new blockchain-based social media app. It's called What's Around, one word.
Yeah.
You can, if you're on our Twitch page, you can actually go down through our panes there, and there's a link for it uh, in our description. Um, Basically, it's a blockchain-based rival to, I would liken it to Instagram. It's a photo sharing app. Um, and the main difference between Instagram and What's Around is that What's Around actually pays you to use the platform. They award you in shot points, which, as you accumulate shot points and you meet different achievements, you are then awarded in shot coins, which you can spend in a marketplace within the app. You can buy things like Starbucks gift cards, Amazon gift cards. You can even buy Ether with it if you accumulate enough shot coins. So I'm super pumped about it. I like it so far. I've been messing with it over the last month or so, and I've had the pleasure of speaking with one of the co-founders of the app, Salih Sarakaya. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's been a huge help to helping me understand the application itself. Both him and the developers are very very friendly, and they even reached out to me the other day and asked me to write a just a little review on what are my initial thoughts on what's around. Having interacted with it for a little over a month, and it ended up actually being published on the UFI, which is a cryptocurrency news website. So I was super happy about that. I had no expectations of having it published or anything. I just wanted to send over a basically just a compilation of my thoughts on social media and what's around in general, and specifically more about how it what's around stands in contrast to other social media platforms. And apparently, the article was well received, and they decided to publish it. So thanks to all those guys over there for publishing that. I guess that's the first official Block Talk consumer review
Right.
that exists on the web now. So it's out there forever. We're famous.
Uh, Justin, we will be having a StarCraft 1 tournament at a later date. We need to update to the remastered version.
Right, right, man.
Uh,
It's hard fighting those. What are they, Terrans?
oh man, well, Terran is one of the races you can play, and they're
Yeah.
they're they're the humans, you know.
Right, right.
So they're the good guys in the story. Actually, I think the Protoss are probably the good guys because they could kind of shit on, if we're being
Oh
real.
yeah. Well, nice guys always finish last. So
Well, it makes a compelling story because at the last chapter, the Protoss turn around and win the day. So,
yeah. Well, like I said, nice guys finish last. So roll horde.
yeah. Um, yeah, dude. Horde all the way. But yeah, so this is just our page here, the social media. You mentioned about what's around, and you
Yep.
mentioned how it was different from some of the other social medias. What kind of makes it stand out in your mind?
Well, one of the first things that initially kind of turned me off to Instagram. I do have an Instagram account. I do have the app on my phone. I never use it because honestly, like my feed for whatever reason is just made up of scantily clad women, um, and that's not all I want to look at. Sometimes I want to look at cars or tech stuff, but it's just everything is so inundated with scantily clad women who have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they basically do this for a living. Um, so to me, the big thing about what's up that kind of drew me over to that is it feels more grown up. It's more photography and art based,
Okay.
rather than some chick in a bikini on a pool. Not saying that I have a problem with that, not by any means, but um, there's so much more out there than just looking at women all the time. There are other sites. You could spend your verge on a Pornhub sub if you wanted to do all that. Um,
Oh, I do.
but I don't know. Like there's such a grown up, more mature feel to the app than Instagram. And also, I feel like one of the biggest things is that it actually pays you to use their app and interact with other people. So that interaction between people, and soon to, as I learned last night, there's actually going to be a section for businesses on there as well, for like people who are professional photographers, what have you. There's going to be a means of interaction between users and business, so that's going to be really good, kind of building that shot coin economy in the app. I also learned that the app is going to be on the Ethereum blockchain, so the shot coin will be an ERC20 token, but they are open to other blockchains. There's been mention of the EOS blockchain as well as the Tron blockchain. Um, so they are making very very good progress. The developer team that's made up of 6 people, and they work day in day out to make sure that everything is legit and above board. Um, and the community on Telegram is super welcoming, and they love a good discussion, especially about blockchain and crypto. Um, so, I mean, all in all, I've had nothing but a great experience with what's around so far. I highly recommend it, and if there's anybody out there that wants to check it out, just have a little scroll down in our Twitch description, and you'll see a link for what's around there if you want to check it out. It's totally free to use, and matter of fact, if you sign up, you get like a free $10 of shot coin by using our link, and so it's a win-win for everybody. You get to support an awesome blockchain-based application and project. You get free shot coin. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
Well, That's a pretty glowing review.
Yeah.
Now, we have also chatted a bit about this. What's Around is only on mobile at this time.
Yes, yes. By clicking on the link, it will take you to a sort of landing page where you can create your account there. But then after you create your account, it'll prompt you to go to the Google Play Store or the App Store on iOS, and then you can download the app from there, and then you'll be able to link your accounts and receive your free $10 of shot
Excuse me. Well, that's a great invitation to do that. Would you say that What's Around is, um, more marketed towards different people, than maybe say the Instagram equivalent, non-blockchain?
Yeah, so it seems that the people that I've noticed being more attracted to What's Around are more of the aesthetic, more of the artsy type photographers and graphic artists and what have you. Um, it pretty much it seems like everybody that I've ever encountered on What's Around, even in the Telegram chat that they have open, everybody just seems to be very mature and uh, more more at a grown up place in life rather than worrying about chicks and itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikinis and whatnot. Um, so yeah, I mean they're super nice, super grown up, easy to talk to, and there's people from all over the world. I actually spoke yesterday with a gentleman, and good lord, I hope I get his name right. Konstantinos. He's actually from Greece.
Uh,
Very nice fellow. He's a world traveler and a crypto enthusiast as well. And I gave him the link to our stream, and he said he was going to check us out. So hopefully he's somewhere in the viewer lounge, the official Block Talk lounge somewhere.
well, it is a bit late in Greece right now, but that being said, there's always a chance he tunes in later or catches the link to the Discord and then drops a message. I mean,
Yeah,
we're practically on European time in some ways ourselves, being on very late hour time frame normally, just on a day
yeah.
to day, and so that translates to a bit earlier in the day there. But did you see this picture here?
Oh yeah, I just happened to look over and see old Harold, man.
That you were talking about some older folks, and I saw this, and I just thought
Yes,
it was key.
nice.
Anyway, got this on Minds. So for those of you who are new to Minds or looking for new social media, where really the focus is not on Zuckerberg and his bullshit, but instead on a platform that runs on Ethereum.
Yeah, yeah, it's a totally decentralized social media platform. I would probably liken it to a very early days, sort of like Facebook, where you're able to share photos and videos and just post general updates on your wall. But the added benefit there is, unlike Facebook, Minds will not censor you, so you don't have to worry about getting zucked and going to Facebook jail because free speech is very, very much encouraged on Minds, whether for good or ill. Um,
Hmm.
but I do think it's definitely a big appeal to my libertarian side. Being very socially liberal myself, um, I definitely do respect their healthy respect of free speech. Whether or not I agree with it, that's a different story. I agree with the free speech. I just don't necessarily agree with some of what's being talked about, more or less, because there are places for like the alt right and make America great again kind of people, and but this is the world that we live in, and we do have the right to talk about what we want in a safe environment, and so that's kind of what Minds has given everybody. So yeah, I mean we use Minds all the time. I love Minds. There's all sorts of funny news and spicy memes on there as well.
Well, I agree with you on Minds being a great place, and also a place that uses the discretion of the blockchain. And I'm glad we mentioned Ether specifically. Ether's got some big changes coming up.
Yeah, eminently.
Casper and Plasma, possibly without Vitalik Buterin at the helm.
Ooh.
He has started to hint on Twitter that the operational side has passed on to someone else, and he is now updating people on projects that are being run by others. These include the Casper sharding spec being roughly finished, different implementations, many implementations of Plasma, and the ZK Snark, the Zcash technology for privacy, with layer 2 scaling and privacy well underway. Now, it's a night and day difference from 2017, but he says it's a night and day difference, but does that mean he's going to be able to deliver results, and will those results be ready?
Well, that is a great question. Vitalik Buterin has always been, in my mind, a very forward thinker, and he's always had his eyes set on the much bigger picture. I was always very, very skeptical of this hard, of Constantinople specifically, and how effective it's going to be on the network. Because I know we've touched on this in past streams and what have you. I think that switching over to the proof of stake system so abruptly is just going to have such an ill effect on the network, because you're rendering very, very expensive hardware obsolete and useless. So the network is going to take a massive hit, at least in the short term, I feel. I was actually encouraged to write an article on my opinions on Constantinople, so I might just have to do that.
Well, what's around is a great place to post that. Mine's as well. For our web presence, and another place is if we had a blog. Who has blogs in 2018? But if we had a website and had a vlog, perhaps, and just do like little video logs, we could even combine that with the fact that it's fall and it's really dope outside. So we go onto one of the trails out in the woods and do block talk live from the wilderness.
Okay, all right.
Spice it up a little bit.
I'm down with that.
It's a good excuse to go camping, and then plus we get some good block talk airtime. So one thing I wanted to talk about was Ether today, and specifically how people are using it, using the capacity a lot less from its peak at the beginning of the year, and so that lower usage has driven down the cost of operating on the Ethereum blockchain, and which has in turn led to some pretty decent transactions. If we use onchain.fx to measure our transactions in 24-hour period, there's EOS is the big boy on that category. XRP doing very nicely. This is almost certainly because of increased use from their different apps, or dApps, I should say, and platforms. And that will continue to rise. So XRP, it will cuck you in the market, but it will love you in the long term. That's definitely a big one.
Yeah.
But if we look down here at Ethereum, spiking up to 490k transactions in 24-hour time. So that transaction spike, now there's some hope there. Price action can be affected by that. Ultimately, they conclude here that's really it's not really a good indicator, unfortunately. But the why of it, if there's more investors because the currency is cheaper, then that indicates more transactions too, because they're moving their Ether around, doing things with it.
Yeah. It doesn't help that all the ICOs dumped all of their fundraising relatively recently. So Ether been has been having a little bit of trouble recovering from that. Um, but yesterday's, or the pump, that happened over the last couple days, um, we saw ether get back up into the 230s and kind of hang out happily there for a little bit. Now it's back down to, the high 220s.
Yeah.
Back to where it's normally been hanging out. So.
You're talking about the price action there on ether?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can take a look at that right here. ETH USDT on Binance. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ether is very stable right now. I think people are waiting and they're holding their breath to see, what's going on with it. I think that Ether, if they do it right and they do it well, and the DApp community adapts well to it, because ultimately that's who matters, right? It doesn't matter what you or I think as outside observers, because we're not directly interacting with the, using the gas generated by the miners on our smart contracts. We're not like actively using the Ethereum blockchain outside of a few small projects here or there, a few dApps, but nothing significant. If those major developers and folks are able to take advantage of the new system, then that says to me that, okay, this has some staying power, and because it's better tech in the long term, it should end up being a boon. So I would say as long as it doesn't absolutely fail and go back to like, as long as if it fails and turns into Bcash except just Ether, like Ethereum Cash, can you imagine that?
That'd be wild, wouldn't
it? Yeah, that would be horrifying.
Yeah.
Ether Cash, this Roger Ver's new project.
God, okay. So now that you mentioned Roger Ver, did you happen to see that tweet that I shared that Jimmy Song posted yesterday?
I saw you mentioned it, but I don't know if I saw it. What was the tweet?
Let me see if I can find it. I know I put it in the Discord somewhere.
Okay, I can take a look here.
Yeah, I put it in the Strictly Cryptly room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Man, really interesting. I'm actually going to throw this over here on stream so our viewers can see it. If you want to use Bitcoin, this is what Jimmy Song says. If you want to use Bitcoin as a method of payment, this strategy is more rational, and convenient than doing lots of on-chain transactions or transfers. Spend with your credit card with no debt on it. When your credit card bill comes, sell just enough Bitcoin to pay the bill. So
what even does that mean?
Well, what he's saying is just think very short term on it, and say, okay, I'm just going to get a credit card and I'm going to buy Bitcoin with it.
That's a terrible idea.
Well, in 2017, when the market was tripling, that was a great idea. In 2018, where the market is just chilling, not pumping, not that excited. I mean, overall market cap is very stable. In fact, we can take a look at that.
I think I might need to sell my position in
All right, let's look at the past 3 months for market cap.
Okay.
This is the last 3 months.
Okay.
Look how little activity that is.
Yeah.
That's so flat.
Yeah, little up, little down, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, if you can trade these little pumps here and there, okay, you're doing fine. What about something like this, from 195 to 300. You know, that's a 50% jump. What
Mm-hmm.
actually ended up happening though, it was a 33% dip from 300 billion to 191 billion.
Ouch.
So that was from late July to mid August. So it's over the course of about 3 weeks, just lost 3 weeks of losing $120 billion in market cap.
That's so bad.
In 3 weeks, dog. 3 weeks. Now, conversely, if we had that kind of jump here in 3 weeks, that'd be dank. Because we'd be up.
Oh yeah. Crazy time.
Sorry. Um, for those who haven't heard, I get these calls from a previous owner of the number. It's not even like the old phone owner, like I own the phone. It's like the person who had the number prior to me having the number because I switched numbers. And so all these old text services, calls, robocalls, are all
Yep.
still signed up for that number because why would someone go and cancel something like that? They would just change numbers. So
Mm-hmm.
then the new number still gets them. Like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. So anyway, the point is here, um, there's some room to go. Now, how are we going to get more global market cap? Well, the answer is through good notoriety and adoption, things like this. Have you heard about this petition?
Ooh. Yeah. The Ripple petition for the Olympic being the official currency.
Yeah. I kind of had a dumb moment there. Of course, you've heard about it. We talked about this on stream, where basically, XRP had it needed to get 7,500 signatures and it had 5,000, so it was on its way. Now they doubled the goal to 15,000 and it already topped 10,000 signatures. This would make Ripple the official cryptocurrency of the 2020 games, and they already have a badass, basically app that you can use to transfer money and
Yeah.
exchange currencies because, transferring money, using Ripple is fast and cheap compared to, and safe compared to, going to like an exchange dealer right there, like right outside the airport.
Yeah. I know when I came back from the Bahamas and I had a bunch of excess Bahamian money that I wanted to switch back into USD. It was absolutely brutal how bad the fees were just to exchange. Oh man, probably like $100 uh, from Bahamian dollars to US dollars. I can't. I don't recall what the fees were. It was
Well, this
so long
th-
ago.
this fee, okay, so instead of being just cents per transfer on Ripple, is $40 for international fund transfer. So that's not
Okay.
exactly what you were talking about converting, but the conversion fee is going to be another percentage you have to pay. With Ripple, you really don't.
Yeah.
So Olympic fund raising with crypto. Oh yeah, 2014 Dogecoin community raised funds to send the Jamaican bobsled team to the Winter Olympics.
Hey,
I mean, it's kind of a meme, but it's pretty dank.
that's cool running right there, man.
Yeah. Now this year, the U.S. Olympic team, a luge team, is trying to utilize Bitcoin. So they accept donations, according to Time magazine.
That's awesome.
So definitely an opportunity for some adoption, and you know, hey, I'm all about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big year for Ripple, and we're so close too.
Yeah. So I mean, think about it if it gets adopted. You know.
Yeah, that's gonna be insane. There was something that I wanted to mention. Having to rack my brain here. Uh, God, I love when that happens. Um, it'll come to me eventually. I'm just so mesmerized by this MDA pump that happened earlier today.
Yeah, can we talk about this? So we started to check this out earlier, and it just, good lord,
It's slowing down now for sure.
just double monster pumps.
Dude, oh my god. See, I got in at 14,959, and so I get in and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good. I feel like I'm in at a good price point.
You're here at the. It was about 150. Or are you talking about back here? It was about
Let's
9
see.
o'clock. So it was either 1:50 p.m. or about 9 a.m.
So it was today. So it'd have been at 12:50, so right around 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I got in, and I rode that all the way up to 14,959 because it started looking like it was running out of steam. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and lock in some profit there. I got a nice, 800 sats and some change out of it.
Yeah.
Um,
So you
so
got
I,
up. So your sell point was around here, and then then it can proceeded to continue pumping.
yeah, good lord, I was angry about that
Fucking
because I mean,
40 minutes of pumping.
mm-hmm,
It just kept
all the way
going.
up to 19K.
40 minutes of fucking buying volume.
I could have, instead of having 800 sats per, I could have had like 3,900 sats per.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I made the profits. Don't get me wrong, profit's profit. But man, like that would have been an insane ride.
Let me ask you this: when you went to sell, did you just find a limit order of the amount and just sell off?
Yeah, yeah. So if you look at the candles right around 1400, or
Yeah.
a little before maybe, that's that little dip right there. Those three candles going down. That's where I decided to sell off. I was like, oh man, it's gonna start dumping, and then it kind of leveled out for about a minute or so, and then just took back off and just continued pumping, dipping, bouncing off the moving average, pumping, dipping, bounce off the moving average, and it just kept doing that. It would not stop.
It was a wild ride for sure. Just watching it. I don't think that this coin is going to have staying power. I think just it's just one of the pump and dumps that got started, and then people just jumped in, FOMO'd in,
Yeah,
and then because it was a pretty slow news day. Other than that, I mean, if we look at the Ether BTC chart, flat.
yeah,
If we look at the BTC USDT, um, a little movement, but keep in mind this is only $25 this whole swing,
yep,
so only moving a few bucks here or there. EOS, kind of steady. XRP, very steady. Ether, holding on, and so on. So in a very slow and kind of, you know, um, chill news day, Red Rum 1993. Thank you um, for saying that I'm a sexy animal. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're a sexy animal. You know. Does that mean
oh man,
does
that's
it
hilarious.
make it bestiality if we're both sexy animals though?
No, I
Uh,
think at that point it's perfectly normal.
there you go. There you go.
He's a very bullish, sexy animal.
I am quite bullish right now because I have positions that I'm going long on, so I am extremely bullish. But as soon as that shit goes sideways, I'll turn bearish in a heartbeat. No, I'm just kidding. But
So what are you going long on, just out of curiosity?
we mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm going long on Bitcoin, Ether, Tron, and EOS.
Okay, okay.
I the platforms, one of the platforms, or maybe all three are gonna succeed. Now, if the Doge Ethereum bridge gets out of control, which it might one day, if one of the independent development groups makes some strides and gets it done, but there was an interview done on the Doge Ethereum bridge, and
Yes.
it's very interesting. Actually, heard about it from Jr. and he mentioned it to either on Face What's Around or in Discord. I'm not sure where I originally saw it, but anyway, the interview basically said that there's a team that's been able to kind of complete half of the equation on a um, not on the main net of the transfer, but on some other sort of test net, I suppose. But they're able to kind of destroy and regenerate or issue the what's it called, the withdrawal and the additional and the add line, because you know how like in the block, like you have to send, like when you send someone something you get like a minus and a plus, and then like the
Yeah.
plus goes over, you know what I'm saying, like, so it just I'm having a hard time kind of explaining it. It's basically, from a coding perspective, you have like an input and an output generated at the same time, of like that crypto moving. So anyway, so that transaction needs to be replicated across the blockchain, and if it succeeds, then it validates itself and moves on. But um, getting back to what I was saying before, you know, I'm going long on those platform positions, man, because the tech is there. I
Yeah.
mean, Bitcoin is a major opportunity for investment, but it's not going to be the payment platform. The payment platform is going to come in the form of what Ripple's doing, where they find a defined market, they create an app, and then they use their token to facilitate something.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I heard someone. I saw a meme the other day that called Bitcoin a $6,600 stable coin.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I thought that was funny and a little jabby at the Bitcoin Foundation.
It is, but they're not. They're not that far off. I think. You know, Bitcoin is seen now more as an investment vehicle rather than
Right.
rather than something else. So, using Bitcoin to pay for stuff is okay, but I would rather have systems like how Mines does it, where it's set up, you receive tokens, and you use those tokens within an economy, which is the social media page,
Yeah.
and it's all self-contained. Trying to replace Visa is trying to take on Goliath here. I feel like it's a bit much, and people already trust Visa. They already trust American Express. They trust all these credit card companies. Whether they should or not is kind of a philosophical debate, and also we could
Yeah.
talk about the security of the information going out there and hacks and stuff that happen all the time. But that's really a separate debate. The fact is that people are okay with it on some level, and they're using these cards in massive amounts of numbers.
Like Jimmy Song.
Yeah, yeah, they're maxing out their credit cards and then buying Bitcoin, and then when Bitcoin crashes, then they're fucked. Excuse my
Yeah.
language, they're screwed. But so those are the positions I'm going along on, and of course Doge. I didn't mention Doge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you mentioned Doge briefly just a couple minutes ago, talking about the developments and everything. I think the only thing that they have left that they're really working on with the Doge Ethereum bridge is something that the lead developer Ross Nicole, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, unfortunately. They're working on the deterministic algorithms,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that means, um, because there was some issue there. But as far as a release date for the bridge, there hasn't been any sort of formal answer for that yet.
Okay.
So I'm not put off by the delay of releasing the Doge Ethereum bridge. I know everybody is a lot of traders like me. We have very narrow attention spans and we're very patient when it comes to trading.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a good feeling that this Doge Ethereum bridge is going to be pretty good, and it's going to work very very well with cross chain transactions. Um,
It's a
and
great goal. It's just going to come down to, because Doge is so decentralized, it doesn't have that,
yeah,
core company running it. Like the Reddit moderators are not the same people working on these projects, are not the same people, who are on other media. So, it's a very decentralized organization.
yeah,
And it's going to come down to, is this one team, who's off working on this project, are they going to, be able to implement it? And it's kind of one of those things. Maybe, it's hard to say. And if they do, they're gonna be way ahead of the game in terms of the atomic swap. Of kind of the chain to chain transactions,
yeah,
um, which I think would be the holy grail. I mean, everyone would clamor to use Dogecoin. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And a lot of people like Dogecoin because it's one of those coins that doesn't take itself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Dogecoin was initially started as kind of a joke about Bitcoin investors taking themselves way too seriously. Um, so this was just meant to be a meme coin essentially, and for the longest time, it kind of was. But then this year people started really taking it seriously, and seeing it as a very viable tipping currency, um, and it's just kind of been being worked on ever since.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, we're gonna see, what the results say here in the future. But I have a philosophical, or maybe a debate style question here for you.
Okay.
Do you think that um, do you think that the government of a country should have software companies in the country build in a backdoor on security software that will disable any kind of anonymity and allow the government to find out information about someone's account regardless of encryption?
Easy answer. No. Um,
Well, it's happening. At
yeah,
least it's proposed to be happening in Australia.
yeah, which is really, really sad because Australia, for a little while there, was being very, very receptive to the idea of crypto. There were even some companies that would allow you to pay your bills in crypto in Australia. So to hear that some sort of legislation is attempting to be passed that essentially just reverses everything they've been working on is very disheartening to hear for them, and I hate that's happening. The libertarian side of me, I value my privacy extremely, extremely well, um, which is why I was naturally drawn to distributed and decentralized apps,
Yeah.
because you choose what information you pick and you can share, if any. So it sucks that this is happening over there. It's terrible. Um, and like I said, the libertarian side of me is just like the government has no right to do all of this, but apparently they're trying to impose their will upon the people.
Well,
And that's just wrong.
I think it's too bad that a government would go to these lengths. It violates what I think of as if not a right, is certainly something that should be attempted to be upheld, and that's your society's courtesy towards your privacy and what you're doing. And furthermore, for the software company to advertise privacy, or any blockchain organization to advertise anonymity or security on their transactions, that's kind of a major selling point of using blockchain altogether.
Yeah,
So, if they take that out, then how can they justify any DApp whatsoever?
yeah. No, you're right. That is, not only is there the privacy, but I mean, there's also the data integrity and the data security from an IT standpoint. Um, you can access bits of information that are stored on a blockchain that you have on that blockchain at anywhere in the world at any time, even if part of the server goes down for some reason. So you're able to access it, virtually on demand and very, very quickly as well. Um, and so it's very counterintuitive for governments to try to stifle and suppress that sort of um, technology advancement, really. I mean, because that's what blockchain is. I mean, it's a super uh, it's not very complicated. It can be if you're not a tech-oriented person, but it's just a beautifully elegant solution to a problem that we've been having for so long.
Yeah, and it takes out a trusted third party out of the equation for anything from automated, program and stuff.
Yeah.
What if, let's say that, what if I wanted to be anonymous and use EOS? And EOS protects my identity when I do transactions and whatnot. I choose when and how to send out that information. And so, that I can choose to be as anonymous as I want on
Yeah.
EOS. And I can choose to not put my real name. I can not put my location, anything on there. I can just be, anonymous. And even on top of that, when you log in to use a lot of these dApps on the EOS blockchain, you're basically submitting a randomly generated name. So there's no connections. You know what I mean? It's just utterly decentralized. So let's say I'm in Australia, post this law.
Hmm.
You know, is it illegal to use any kind of dApp at that point?
I don't think it will be illegal per se, but I do think there will be some regulation on what kind of apps can be used, or dApps specifically, can be used in Australia. Um, and even if you can use them, who's watching, who's reading, who's listening. So you kind of have like that big brother paranoid aspect uh, by bringing regulation like that in. So I don't know. It's just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. I'm definitely not thrilled about it.
Well, I hope the law doesn't passes. I hope the law doesn't pass. I think that a lot of the folks who are in the business community in Australia realize that this is potentially a can of worms and that they shouldn't, mess around with it.
Yeah. No, and I hope you're right. I hope that the people in Australia, at least the lawmakers and business owners who have two brain cells to rub together, um, wake up and see that blockchain tech isn't here to hurt anybody. It's not here to try to you know sabotage or subvert or obfuscate or anything. It's literally here to help us protect our identities, protect our data,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, it's immutable, right? So once it's on the blockchain and on the
right,
ledger,
it
someone
exists
can't.
forever.
Yeah, someone can't come along and delete that. So if anything, it's kind of like, yes, there are privacy styled tokens like Zcash, and now maybe Ethereum if they're implementing that ZK security protocol.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but remains to be seen how successful that'll be. Um,
yeah,
hmm, what a pump! What a pump!
yeah. MDA, man, that stuff was going wild earlier.
Yeah, it was wild in the '90s. Oh wait,
Oh
that's
man.
MDMA.
Oh, ecstasy. I love you very much.
Oh yeah. Do we need to put on some ecstasy music? Is that what's happening here?
Oh no, no, I was just quoting an old song.
Have you seen that video of the like the '90s like goths dancing around? They're like in like blue hair, black hair, like huge leather stuff. It's like the middle of the day too.
Oh yeah, those little cyberpunk weirdos or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then you just put various songs to it, so
Yep.
it's like
And they do that little.
it's in perfect sync with like cartoonish music. Oh, it's just so good,
Yeah,
so good.
they. Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, the memes are dreams still, and even outside of this weird, freakish MDA pump that we had, or double pump, the markets are dying. No, I'm just kidding. They're not.
Yeah, don't say that. I don't want these markets to die.
No, they're not. XRP is just taunting me. I need to stop looking at this.
Let's see. That is. I need to get to 31,703 before my take profit kicks in. Such a long way to go.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Lonely highway.
So, you know, I've been jamming to all this lo-fi hip-hop. Found this anime pic earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that picture before. That was on someone's channel.
Yeah. So, and then I went on their DeviantArt page, and they had this girl in like a story. So apparently she's like on this big spaceship where only one person keeps watch at a time, you know, and she's really old, but she looks young, and because she's been in stasis for so long. And so the ship just is filled with video games and stuff for her to play while she bides the time, and that's what she's doing.
Nice. Well, judging by the controller she's using, looks like she's playing PlayStation. Yes.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Hell yeah. So, also, major milestone. Check this out. Look at that time savings in the Brave browser.
Oh, what you got? Let's see. 2.1 hours. That's brilliant. What are you gonna do with all that time you save?
Dude, I don't even know. Can I put it in the bank and spend it?
Well, you know they do say time is money.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how you would cash out that right there.
Maybe I'll transfer it into Verge.
Now we're talking. Spend your time with a porn sub.
XVIII, baby. Well, I think you know, Verge. All Verge jokes aside, there is some room for some interesting altcoin developments. You know, we're not going to see the ETF this year. We're probably not going to see it next year. But
Right.
you know, but in the meantime, there are enough projects, and there's enough people slowly catching on to keep the overall market cap going up. I think we're going to have a good Q4.
Yeah.
You know, 5 to 10% up from levels, pretty much minimum, I would say, from where we are now by the end, and you know, possibly much higher. So I'm just gonna just chill and sit long and just hate myself when, you know, everything dies, and I'm just sitting there watching my positions fade into death. Um, but you know, that's something that we you know, if you're holding, you got to have strong hands. And Block Talk is here to give everyone strong hands.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if you feel like you're a punk trader with blonde bangs and chubby cheeks, um, we can definitely strengthen up those hands.
Oh yeah.
Just reach out to us by email at www.wehateweakhandedpunks.com. Um, and we'll be more than glad to send you a grip strengthener so you can get a grip on those terrible trades that you've been making.
Exactly.
We do it because we love you.
Yes, and so that pretty much covered all of the updates that I had as far as news and anything. Was there anything you wanted to add in?
Not on my end. There have been a couple updates that that I added to the Block Talk page. If you scroll down, you can see I added the Bork Chain Inc. Logo there for anybody who is interested in the spicy memes.
You talking about on the Twitch page?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Let's get that link going.
Yeah. So there's some dank crypto meme threads there. Our partner, the CEO of Doge, Rex, or JR as some may know him, He is the owner of Fourth Chain Inc. He's a very talented T-shirt creator, and he is our business partner, providing us with all the awesome crypto memes gear that he has to offer. I also added What's Around as a logo there, so if anybody's interested in perhaps creating an account on What's Around and seeing what it's all about, please feel free to use that link there. Like I said earlier, that'll get you a free $10 in shot coins that you can eventually earn up to use for different gift cards like Amazon, Starbucks. I believe there's even iTunes and Google Play Store gift cards in there. The holidays are right around the corner, so
Oh yeah.
start stacking up those shot coins and get your significant other or significant others.
There you go.
If you're a
2018 polyamorous.
Yeah, we don't judge.
What about this? What about this Fundever?
Fundever is actually a very neat resource that I found. They are all about helping small streamers get off the ground, kind of find their way throughout their streaming career, whether it's on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever. It is jam-packed full of awesome resources for anyone looking to make their way as a streamer. Or even like just basic content creator, vlogger, blogger, you name it. Or even if you're feeling a little spicy and you're happen to be very talented at video games, there's all sorts of esports resources in there as well. But they've been a huge help so far. Great community over at Fundever. They've given me all sorts of materials and resources for helping us tweak and making the stream a little better for everyone. I know some of them have been super helpful and have followed the stream as well. One of the guys over there has even approached us and kind of came out of nowhere with an awesome proposal for us. He's actually thinking about hosting a podcast and covering cryptocurrency as a topic. And
Yeah.
He reached out to us and asked if we would sort of step in and be the guests for that segment of his podcast there. So we're hammering out the details on that, getting some dates nailed out, and so yeah, we will be appearing in our first guest spot on a podcast. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so stay tuned for more news about that. We'll be definitely putting out updates on Minds as well as Twitter and on our Facebook page, as well as our affiliated Facebook page, the Crypto News Channel, as well as in our Discord. And going off something you just mentioned that reminded me, I did just want to add in one small thing. So we have in our Discord, we have definitely started doing a monthly contest, and this contest is for the October digital artistic competition. Now, basically, just kind of like Iron Chef style, we're asking digital artists of all shapes and sizes to come together and use the secret ingredient of Dogecoin, or just Doge rather, or Block Talk. So some combination of that. Any form of content is acceptable. So this can be like a drawing, like a sketch. It can be digital art. It can be photography. It can be whatever. The prize pool includes a total of 1,500 Doge, where the winner receives 1,000 Doge and the runner-up receives 500 Doge. Additionally, we have a 50 Doge payout automatically for any submission upon review.
Yeah. So if you've got something that you just whip together real quick and you want to toss it into the arena there, by all means, feel free to do so.
Now, as far as submitting it, you can send it directly to us at our Gmail at official.blog.talk@gmail.com, or you can drop it in our Discord. So we have links to that here on our Twitch page, but we also, if you want to just send us a message on Twitter with that, that's fine, at @real_blogtalk. You can click in, or just hit us up on Minds. Just make sure when you're going in the messaging feature, you have to re-log in, because it is more secure than your standard Facebook message.
Yeah. The chat function on Minds is very encrypted and very secure, and it forces you to log in with a special key that you created when you created your account. But yeah, if you've got anything Doge related, or Block Talk related, oh, you don't forget, you left out one important detail. It's got to be spooky.
Oh, right.
It is Halloween.
Yes, exactly. So then Halloween is mixed in. So any kind of mixture there of spirits, jack o' lanterns, Christmas story, Jack Black, whatever you want. Just mix it in. Halloween, Freddy. I don't know if there's any Freddy fans out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nightmare on Elm Street. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Nightmare on Doge Street.
That's a great theme. I mean, just have Jay whip that up.
There we go. I'll have our program director get it right on that, so he can get some Dogecoin in his. That'll be his first crypto, believe it or not.
He's quite an artist, local talent here in Athens, and anytime that we can possibly reward local talent with crypto, I think it's a win for us.
Oh yeah.
Just the fact that that can even happen, the fact that it's using Dogecoin is keeping the Doge dream alive, and just creating a small token economy. I mean, he can then turn around and use those Dogecoins to invest and to support other artists. It's just it's amazing.
It is. What a wonderful time we live in.
That's right. Well, that kind of wraps up my news items and anything I wanted to close with.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you wanted to drop in?
No. I feel like we touched on everything. I got JR's little shout out with Bork Chain. Talked about what's around a little bit. Fun endeavor for anybody who might be interested there. Yeah, we talked about the art competition. So definitely looking forward to everybody getting their submissions in. We'll be running that through the end of the month. So have those into us by Halloween. That way we can have some awesome spooky stuff to look at on Halloween. I want to see all sorts of Freddy Doges, Vampire Doges, maybe even some blood dripping Block Talk logos. That'd be pretty cool. So get those turned in. If it's an honest attempt, we'll be more than glad to tip out 50 Doge to you. And if you are first place and second place, looking forward to that 1,500 Doge prize pool there.
Yeah, big Doge coming your way. I mean, so don't feel like this is something where you won't be able to do anything with it. It only costs one Dogecoin to send. Any Dogecoin. One.
Yeah, super cheap to move, so you can move it around anywhere you want to. And of course, when we send it over to you, we'll accommodate for that one Dogecoin transfer fee, so you'll end up with the 50 you're entitled to.
Yeah.
That about wraps it up for me. I don't have anything else to add. I'm just going to go back to trying to find some crazy pumps here and piss away all my Satoshis.
Well, there you go. That's going to how we're going to leave it. We're pissing on each other's Satoshis here at Blog Talk. So, but yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next stream.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one. See you Thursday, unless we decide to stream before then.
Yeah, you might catch us before then. Follow us to find out.
Hey, yeah.
Till next time.
Later.